PrettyBrown&Nerdy.
Hey nerds, Camille here, and I wanted to talk to you guys about Star Trek. They dropped a trailer recently, today actually, for Star Trek Discovery, and I'm so freaking hyped. Star Trek hasn't been on TV since Enterprise ended, so basically like 15 years or so, and I'm really just stoked. Star Trek is on television again, although it is going to be on CBS All Access, and I think that's a paid streaming service by CBS. That trailer though. Okay, we open up, and I know a lot of people had complaints about it because we open up and it kind of looks like Star Wars or The Force Awakens, where you see Rey on, you know, her desert planet in her like desert garb or whatever. You see two people who end up being the captain of USS, I don't want to mispronounce the name, but Michelle Yeoh from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and a bunch of other cool stuff. She is the captain of the ship that's going to come towards them in the trailer, and behind her is her first officer, Sonequa Martin Green, or her name is Michael in the show, and she's from, like, her fame is from The Walking Dead. Anyway, you see these two women of color out on a desert planet in their desert garb walking, and they're having a little bit of a conversation, and then the ship comes at them, and you're just like, yes, give me that Star Trek movie quality budget for a television show. The previous shows didn't have this kind of freaking budget and this kind of CGI and all this kind of stuff, so I'm just already here for it. Guys, you have no idea how much this means to me. Star Trek being back on television, Star Trek being one of the first things that ever got me into fandom, Star Trek being one of the first like instances that my mother and my grandmother saw like a woman of color, specifically a black woman, on television in like a science fiction role, in that kind of role as Uhura, Nichelle Nichols as Uhura. Like, there's just so many feelings swimming around in my body to see the trailer open up with two women of color, an Asian woman and a black woman as first officer and the captain. It just makes my heart. So basically the show, from what I gather, is going to be following Sonequa Martin Green, aka Michael, first officer Michael. Her last name Burnham, I think, is eluding me, but I think it's Burnham. It's going to be following her, kind of her perspective, and that's really interesting because it's going to be following closely her instead of the captain, although all the other Star Trek shows are kind of like the perspective of, we're getting the main crew's perspective, but it's going to be kind of following her, and I'm really excited because, like I said, black woman, sci-fi, Star Trek, like, I literally like welled up into tears and I was kind of shaking. Sonequa Martin Green, aka Michael Burnham, is going to be our first officer, and she, from what we see in the trailer, is raised by Vulcans, and so that's going to be an interesting layer, unless she is like, I'm gonna go with she's raised by Vulcans, and so we get to see that whole interesting element about how like a human raised by Vulcans and rises up to the level of first officer. Anyway, the show follows about 10 years ahead of the original series, before we get to know about the Enterprise and things like that. It's following the ship USS Discovery and what Sonequa Martin Green, aka Michael, in her ship. Can I just say that how excited I am about Brian Fuller being the executive producer behind the show, because Brian Fuller brought us Hannibal and Pushing Daisies, and shows that like really pushed the boundaries and gave us really full, rich character development and like interesting plot lines, and just like they really hashed out and like made us understood the characters and the story and like moved us forward in those plots. And so Brian Fuller, I am just so glad that your hands are on Star Trek. The only one thing that I'm just really not excited about that I brought up before is CBS All Access. That is, it's a streaming service for CBS, and I think it is something that you have to purchase. And so although the show got 15 episodes when it was first slated for 13, so I guess they liked it so much that they pushed ahead for 15. That's great, but I hate that they're making it hard for people to actually watch the show or want to watch the show. You know, online stream shows, people are going to see it, they're going to watch it if they want to watch it, but like, if we want the show to get more seasons, and if we want more development of the characters, and if we want just Star Trek to exist on television, why does it just have to be on the internet on a streaming service? Why couldn't CBS like slate it for their fall shows? Like, so many shows, especially on the network CBS, which not my favorite network of any of the network television. If they're going to go ahead and go forward with a Star Trek show, knowing that the fandom is huge and there's a lot of people who would support the show, why not put it on television instead of making it a little bit harder by putting it on an online streaming service for people to purchase? 24 hours after every episode that they post, they're going to put it on Netflix, so that's going to be a cool like other layer that I didn't know of before. Just put Star Trek on television. That's all I'm freaking asking. Come on, y'all. Even though, yeah, we do have like, you know, representation sprinkled in throughout the Star Trek series, like this is something that's really like moving us forward and is really revolutionary for Star Trek. So anyway, if you like Star Trek, let me know what you thought. I will leave a link for the trailer in the description box below so you guys can talk to me about it. If you're not super interested into Star Trek, but you do like sci-fi, like fantasy, space shows, and you're interested in trying it, please like watch it with me this fall and we can talk about it, because guys, I just can't get over how excited I am and I want to talk to people about this show. So some of y'all need to watch the show with me so we can get hype for the show. Like, let me turn on my little disco ball, my little space ball, to show you how excited I am about the show. Anyway, so just let me know what you thought. Until next time, live long and prosper, y'all. Especially in these like crazy times.
Not like it is. From one Dragon Ball fan to another. I just have a question. Like, how long are y'all gonna keep worshiping this awful individual that is Goku? Okay, now I get it. Okay, I get it. He's the strongest Saiyan on Earth. He saved the world many times.